third speaker is doing an icebreaker, and there are several people here who are new and don't know that you're not limited to one icebreaker in your Toastmaster career. Several of us have done several, or at least a few, and Dan is going to introduce himself to us again in a different, well, I didn't hear your first one, so I don't know if it will be the same or different from what you had done 30 years ago. But Dan is doing an icebreaker. His title is Bloopers, and he tells me it'll be 7 to 9 minutes. I'm looking forward to learning something new about Dan.
How many of you have been troublemakers when you were preteen or teenagers? Raised a lot of cane in the neighborhood. Well, that was me and our family. There was 56 kids on the block that I grew up in, 9 of which were in my household. The Toastmaster and fellow Toastmaster. My dad worked for the Federal Bureau of Investigation during the Second World War. So we moved quite a bit. I've got brothers and sisters born in Denver, Colorado, Burlingame, California, Seattle, Washington, and of course Minneapolis. So that kind of spread us around for a while. As I grew up, as being number uno in the family, I started with a paper route at age 11. And at age 13, I became a busboy at the Minneapolis Club, downtown Minneapolis. Then I became a semi-professional gambler, card player. That's the way I paid my way through Buell Hill High School in Minneapolis. It turned out to be well. And after high school, I decided that there were some adventures I wanted to do before I went to college. And so I moved out west. I moved to California. I lived in Hollywood and Inglewood. And I was probably one of the few people in this room that sat in Pasadena and watched the Gophers play against Washington back in the 60s. As I stayed in California, I really didn't do much except for hang out on Hollywood Boulevard. And that was an interesting step. That's another speech in itself. But eventually, I joined the Marine Corps, and I was in a helicopter squadron, and I ended up back here at NAS, Naval Air Station, Twin Cities, helicopter squadron 766, and I spent most of my 5 years here. Some points that I did move to were into North Carolina and back to Santa Ana, California. And once I missed going to Haiti. It really got me. But by that time, I had gone to the University of Minnesota, and I majored in industrial relations. That was a trick in itself, in that my future plans with that type of degree was to go to law school. Along the way, a friend came up to me and asked if I would run a bar and a restaurant for him. His partner had died and he had a part-time job, and he just couldn't spend the nights running this bar and a restaurant, which was a local bar. I thought, boy, what a party is this going to be? So that's what I did for 5 years. I ran a bar and a restaurant in South Minneapolis. Now the bar business itself, to you as customers, it's nothing but a big party. The manager of the bar has to look at them and say, well, the bottom line is I got to make money here. So you kind of just sit back and let them party, but you watch what's happening in the business to make sure that all your budget's covered. And I enjoyed that. There wasn't much money in it. There were a lot of young ladies though, that's nice. I left that position and became a realtor with Partner Realty. I was brought to this club by a woman by the name of Val Ulmer. John, maybe you remember Val. She thought that I need some polish. She was right. And it took me, you talked about your icebreaker being a few months, it took me almost 6 months to get my icebreaker. I was so nervous, as I still am today. But I've learned how to control some of that. We had a member named Bill Boyles. And he always, a distinguished looking gentleman, beautiful speaking voice, a great Toastmaster. He said one of the keys for his controlling his nervousness was to take his thumb and his index finger, squeeze them together, keep them behind your back like this till you got into your speech. Gosh, I tried that, and, you know, for me it worked. So I've been a Toastmaster a long time, but that's not all of me. Outside of Toastmastering, I've done quite a few different things. I have been a police officer, I've been a private detective, I have ran the bar and the restaurant, I became a realtor like I mentioned, then I became an insurance salesman for Farmers Insurance Group, and I had my own agency in Richfield for 30 years. And during that time I got involved in a lot of other adventures. I did a lot of volunteering, and I also became a lobbyist at the state legislature with a group called the Fish and Wildlife Legislative Alliance. They're still in business today. My interest is conservation in the outdoors, besides other things, but that's one of my main interests. And I stayed with them for about 10 years as a citizen lobbyist. And that's where I got to meet a lot of Earl's friends, and some of the friends I grew up with who got into politics. It was very enjoyable. I still keep in contact with our paid lobbyists and to see what's happening at the state legislature. But beyond that, I've been pretty social, and I've been the past president, a lot of things I've done in the past, I've been around so long, of the Cannon Falls Community Theater. I'm president of the Art Council. I have been involved with a lot of conservation efforts with the National Wild Turkey Federation. I became a EMT, which I was for 4 years. Some of you may remember some of the speeches I've given here on strokes and heart attacks and whatnot. After leaving the EMT, because I wanted to become an actor. I always wanted to become an actor. But I never, ever had the wherewithal to get it all together and appear in front of a group of people and make a fool out of myself. But Toastmasters. It may have taken me a long time to get self-confidence to appear in front of a group of people, strangers, to project myself as somebody else other than whom I am. It seemed like I played a lot of drunken lawyers over the years. But I was able to take that first step. And I did it. First real acting job was at the Sheldon Theater in Red Wing, Minnesota. It was called A Rented Christmas. And I played a man's man, a butler. Now, I'm going to get into some bloopers here. And in that case, I was leading people around through the household, and we were doing little different things. And we had a lady that was baking cookies, and that was one of our main scenes. Well, in the scene I went, the guys knocked on the door, and I opened the door, and the guy came in, we had a little discussion, and then we met the head of the household, and we're all going to go into the kitchen for some baked cookies and a conversation with this woman in the kitchen. Well, the lead, the head actor, the head of the household, forgot all about that. He just walked, I started walking towards the kitchen. All this dialogue had taken place. He just kept walking by the kitchen, and we went into another scene. And I thought, I wonder how this is going to go. Because actors, when they're reading and memorizing their script, they follow what the other person says in a timely manner. And when somebody changes things, you can have a lot of change. But we got through to the last performance. I think we did 16 performances of this play at the Sheldon Theater. And the Sheldon Theater, for those of you who aren't aware of it, is a Broadway theater house. It's very ornate. It's in Red Wing, Minnesota. It is just spectacular. But in the last scene, the last night we put on this play, I was giving a fervent speech about Christmas and the meaning of Christmas and all this, and there were about 50 kids over here and all this. I'm talking, I lost my voice. And I'm standing up there, there's 600 people or whatever in the audience, and I'm waiting for someone just to jump in, but they didn't jump in. Finally, I came up with something and I walked off the stage. It was the end of that particular scene. Talk about embarrassment. No, that's not the only embarrassment I've had in the theater. There's some other bloopers, but there's been some real funny ones. I played a priest, and it's a children's Christmas story. And it was a brief occurrence for me on the stage. I don't think I was on stage more than 10 minutes in the whole play. But I came out with the dress as a priest. Well, we did a lot of, I think 16 of these appearances. And the final one was a matinee on a Sunday. And when you get done acting, the play's over with, the actors go to the front of the theater and they meet up everybody. You know, and people slap on the back, say good job, bad job, you know, whatever. And as I went through that, and I had to go downstairs to the green room to take my makeup off and change my clothes, a man followed me. And I looked at him and said, well, you're one of the actors. And I got down to the bottom of the stairway and he says, Father. He said, where is your church? My wife and I would like to go to a new church, and I think you'd be the man. And I looked at him, and I said, well, it's just on the block. And the guy, he turned around and walked away and said, sir, just a minute. I said, this was an act. I'm not a priest. But being in the theater has helped me as my personal life, my financial life. Although I no longer am an insurance agent, I sold my insurance agency about 3 years ago to write the All-American novel. That's still stretching out. I've had some health problems, but I'm working through that. But there's a little snippet about me. From a large family to kind of an adventurous scheme of things in life. Kind of a lot of different things. I hope to do a lot of more different things. And I hope that you'll all support me in the future and we'll all have fun together, particularly our Toastmasters. Mr.